Now, the sound a motorcycle makes that you hear from the cockpit while you're riding it, backing off the gas, going through the gears, whatever, that sound is a big part of the riding experience. And a lot of people like the sound of this bike or that bike. I love the sound of that crossplane. And you can watch this and actually listen to it in 4K. Just adjust your YouTube device. So today our weatherman is predicting no chance of rain whatsoever. Temperatures in the 70s. It just couldn't be any better. And we're going to get out on our crossplane R1 and do some crossplaning. Now, I know some people just think if you just make a bike louder in some way, it's cooler or it's better or whatever. I like a bike that has a very distinct sound, the sound that you can't really make by just drilling a hole in a muffler or putting a straight through pipe on. And this bike has that sound. It has that deep growl. I call it evil. Well, maybe you call it evil too. I don't know. But I know I've ridden bikes that have a really unique, wonderful sound that I really have enjoyed. I love the sound of my GS. Some of the Luciano's Ducatis that I've ridden have a really nice sound when you back off the gas. And it's all really an ear of the beholder anyway. Just like feeding a fish, you know. It's in the fish of the beholder. But anyway, it's something that I find important. Some people do, some people don't. But we're going to get out on the open road today. We got to take care of our little garden here. Have an extra cup of coffee. The birds are hungry. They're starting to eat like crazy today. And every part of our garden has been great all year. We try to keep it up right to the last minute. And every once in a while, I come back from a ride and Karen will have another bucket of tomatoes or a bucket of vegetables. But it's time to go. It's one of the things I find entertaining about motorcycling is every bike has a different personality. Every bike, at least in my collection, has a little bit different sound. A little bit different sound while you're riding it. Not the sound when you drive by, the sound when you're sitting in the saddle and you back off the gas or go through the gears. Every bike is unique. Now, I had the exhaust system that I made on the bike for several years, but when it changed from riding in Harriman Park basically to this populated area, I really made a good decision going with the quiet exhaust. Now, I'm also right in the middle of testing tires. These are Pirelli Angels. Not conclusive yet how long they're going to last relative to the Michelins. I'll report, of course, but we are coming up on 37,000 miles, and it seems like they have reasonably good grip, reasonably good edge grip. I get the gut feeling, though, just having started the test on the Michelin 6s, that they were just a little bit stickier, but again, I'm not sure how these ultimately are going to wear. And to me, it's such a fine line to walk. You want to have a bike that has a nice, powerful sound, but I don't want a bike that's loud and obnoxious. It's kind of like music. I want to have music that's nice to listen to, but on the other hand, I don't want to get a headache after riding for a couple hours. And to me, there's nothing more annoying if you're on a group ride or riding with your friends and you're behind somebody that's got an obnoxious loud bike, or I think even worse when you get behind somebody that they on purpose I'm making a bike louder than it has to be. It just gets annoying after a while. It gets old very quickly. This bike, I think, is a really, really good compromise. And that doesn't even take into account, you want that nice sound, but I don't want to send it down the road 1.5 miles to law enforcement and say, here I am, I'm coming down the road, get your ticket book ready. There is a really difficult thing to get that balance just right. And I don't want to have it so quiet that when I'm riding on Route 80, the guy alongside of me just pulls into my lane. Again, I've gone back and forth with the exhaust on several of the bikes, including this one. And this is basically a stock exhaust system. And this one, it seems just loud enough that when you're on Route 80, the person next to you knows you're there. And yet when you go through the populated areas, which I have to do to get to the riding area, I go through that, I don't have people throwing rocks at me. Every time I'm at a bike meetup and there's somebody with a loud, obnoxious bike and they're just sitting there revving it up and making all this noise, I just think to myself, I don't know. I don't like to be too critical of other people's tastes in exhaust systems, but there are some that are really, really annoying. And I know they're telegraphing that information down the road to every radar trap. So if I had to use one word to define the exhaust system on this bike, the exhaust sound, the note, the cadence, whatever you want to call it, it's evil. It has an evilness to it. And even when it's sitting in the backyard and it's idling, it has the sound of like a big dog when he growls. Like, you know, there's something going on in there. You know, this is not a 250 or whatever. And for what it's worth, I really enjoy that. Whether I'm cruising through the town or out on Route 80 at full throttle. And that crossplane engine is just something special. Everybody I know that has an R1 with a crossplane, it seems like you wind up always talking about the engine and it just goes on and on and on and on. I think Yamaha, when they came out with this, they really got it right on the money. And it took me many years of fiddling with the ergonomics and fiddling with various things and to get this bike to where I was comfortable with it. And in the end, it has really been just perfect for me. And beside the sound, which I think is one of the dominant things of this motorcycle, beside the sound, there's the way the engine, the power band is friendly as can be. Very unlike an FZR. My FZR I know is like a big two-stroke. This is exactly the opposite. This is more like a big MT-09. Lots of grunt and groan. You can be in one gear too high. Doesn't seem to matter. You don't get a lot of chattering if you're in one gear too high. And when you get on it, it is a thrilling piece of equipment to ride. And I've made several carbon fiber parts, painted the wheels. I've made extra seats for this. I've got 5 or 6 different sets of handlebars. But in the end, all that experimentation, it all paid off in the end. So we're still getting tomatoes here? Is that possible?
We still have several on the
Holy
vines.
mackerel. So we're going to be eating tomatoes for a long time.
Or tomato sauce.
Or something, I don't know.
Or pico de gallo.
Yeah, pico de gallo. All right. Let me put the bike away. I'm ready.
I don't have it all.
Well, we're coming up on 37,000 miles pretty soon, and I've had it since the day it was brand new. I have that special relationship I have with all my motorcycles, but every day I can get out, especially this time of year, the weather is just perfect. There isn't a cloud in the sky. Just couldn't be nicer. And I hope whatever part of the country you live in, I hope you're getting some riding in every day too. But I am trying, this time of year, I try to get every day. I try not to miss any day at all. And as I always say, the sound of a bike, and this bike is evil. When you back off that gas, I love that sound. Maybe you do too. And thanks, guys, so much for watching.